As you watch this video, I would like you to have the handout that's included on Blackboard in the folder that is called 3 Levels of Questions. And you can absolutely take notes, maybe write down some examples, but I want you to have that with you so you can kind of follow along as I'm talking about 3 levels of questions. So the 3 levels of questions are, when we're doing a read aloud with the children, we want to be looking and getting them engaged, and one of the most common ways of doing it is asking questions. So the first one is literal level of questions. And when you think of the word literal, I think of right or wrong, like it's what it says that it is. So these are facts about the story. These are probably the most common questions that teachers ask children. But they don't necessarily get you into a higher level of thinking. They're more fact-based, literal from the story. So in your handout, there is 2 examples from Goldilocks and the 3 Little Bears. And so the first example is, was Goldilocks going for a walk in the woods? And then the second one is, where did Goldilocks go? So really, when we're asking any questions, we want to avoid yes or no answers. So the first question of, was Goldilocks going for a walk in the woods, is yes. I mean, that is a literal question. It's yes or no. But we want to try to avoid that. We want to try to get into a little bit more deeper of thinking and try to get the children to give us the answers. So if we said, where did Goldilocks go? The answer would be for a walk in the woods. So that you're actually pulling out information from the story. With the first one of, was Goldilocks going for a walk in the woods, you're kind of giving them the answer. And it's a 50-50 chance, yes, no. So literal level questions are very basic. Again, like I said, they're probably the most common type of questions that we tend to ask when we're reading stories and we're looking for understanding, engagement, and comprehension of a story. The second level of question is interpretive level questions. And these questions are ones that we're going to ask to draw conclusions, make inferences, and try to get into a little bit more higher level of thinking than just the literal. So, for example, again, if we stick with Goldilocks and the 3 Little Bears, it is, how did the 3 bears feel when they discovered that somebody had been in their house? And then it's a follow-up of, how do you know? So a lot of times you want to tap into the feelings, the emotions, and then ask if, how did you know? When you ask them, how do you know, or what tells you that, you're going to get more. You're going to get information from the story. And it's a really good way of helping make sense of the story and just kind of bringing it all together. The third level of question is probably like the highest level of really looking at comprehension and making a text-to-self connection for children, which is so important. And for those upper levels, that's actually in Common Core that you have text-to-self connections. And these are called applied level questions. So when you're thinking about applying things, it's putting things to use and making the connections. So those are the questions that are going to make the story personable and more meaningful to the children. It's really going to get them thinking about themselves and the story, and again, making the connection. And also a connection to everyday life. So the example could be, would you go into someone's house and use their belongings without their permission? And you're probably going to get a yes or no answer, because it truly is a yes or a no question. However, it's when you add the why or why not that's going to get into that in-depth applied level of connection and making that personal connection with the story for the children. So those are 3 level of questions: literal, interpretive, and applied level of questions. And we're going to be using these as we explore stories and creating lesson plans and doing a reading connection, which is going to be in another video next.